Most physical therapists are stuck making around $85,000 a year, but there are PTs in 2026 who are quietly making $150, $200, or even over $300,000. And almost no one is talking about how they're doing it. I know because I was that PT. I ran up a six-figure bill going to the #1 ranked DPT program and ended up in an outpatient clinic seeing 20 patients a day, getting paid $16.53 per visit. So in this video, I'm breaking down the 5 highest paying career paths for PTs right now, starting with the lowest and working up to the one that completely changed my life. Number 5 helped me build a company that generated over $13 million before I sold it. And most PTs have no idea that it even exists. So let's start with the first one that you probably don't know a single PT doing. Number 1 is industrial and occupational health physical therapy. This is one of the most underrated roles in the entire profession. As an employee, you're typically making around $90,000 to $130,000 per year. But here's what makes this role different. You're not in a clinic. You're on site inside warehouses, manufacturing plants, and distribution centers, places like Amazon fulfillment centers. And your job isn't to treat injuries, it's to prevent them before they happen. Companies are willing to pay for this because injuries are insanely expensive. One serious back injury can cost a company $50,000, $100,000, or more. So if you can reduce those numbers, you're not just a clinician, you're solving a business problem. I actually started my career in workers' comp and I saw this firsthand. Now, day to day, you're doing things like ergonomic assessments, early intervention, functional capacity evaluations, movement coaching, and working directly with HR and safety teams. And the big upside here is the lifestyle. You're not seeing 20 patients a day and you're not dealing with insurances. It's typically a real 40-hour work week with low burnout and way less documentation. But there are a couple downsides. First, like most employee roles, you're gonna hit an income ceiling. And second, many PTs are going to get bored in this setting since it is a bit more preventative with rehab screening, workplace setup monitoring, and education with repetitive tasks rather than a lot of real full rehab plans. Now, if you want to break into this, get some outpatient ortho experience first, then look into ergonomics or occupational health certifications. But the real key is this: you need to position yourself as someone who understands how to save companies money, not just treat injuries. Now, if you want something with more upside than this, the next option is completely different model. Number 2 is skilled nursing facility physical therapy. Now, don't skip this one because the way people are making money here is very different than what you think. As a staff PT, you're typically making around $85,000 to $140,000, with around $105,000 as the median. But that's not the real opportunity. The real upside comes from how you structure it. Right now, SNFs are under massive staffing pressure. The population's aging, facilities are short-staffed, and they need experienced PTs who can step in immediately, which is why many of them are paying $60 to $80 an hour for per diem coverage. And if you're willing to work across multiple facilities instead of being held to just one employer, you can stack these hours and dramatically increase your income. That's why this one makes the list. Now, day to day, you're doing core PT work. Think post-surgical rehab, balance training, fall prevention, but in a faster paced environment with more complex patients. Now, the pros are higher pay than most traditional settings with very stable demand. Now, the downsides: it's physically demanding, lots of transfers, and productivity expectations can be pretty aggressive. Some PTs also might kind of find it repetitive, which is honestly one of the reasons I personally stayed away from this setting. Now, if you want to maximize this opportunity, get your SNF experience first, learn the Medicare side, and then transition into per diem or contract work, which is where the real money is. And this staffing shortage is actually what's fueling the next opportunity, which has even more upside. Number 3 is travel physical therapy, and this is where a lot of PTs go when they want to really maximize income quickly. Most travel PTs are making $100,000 to $150,000 early on, and experienced travelers can clear $150,000 to even over $200,000 a year when you factor in tax-free housing and meal stipends. And the tax structure is what really makes this so powerful. Two PTs can both make $100,000 on paper, but the travel PT is often taking home significantly more money. So here's how it works. You take short-term contracts that are usually around 13 weeks at facilities across the country that are short-staffed. So think hospitals, outpatient clinics, skilled nursing facilities, home health. They all really rely on travel therapists to fill their gaps. Now, the upside: you get paid a premium. You can choose your location and you build a wide range of clinical experience quickly. but there are real trade-offs. You're essentially restarting your life every few months, and that's why this tends to work best for younger therapists or people without major ties to one location. And while the pay is high when you're working, what most people don't talk about is the gaps between contracts. I've seen PTs go weeks or even months without a placement, which can really bring their annual income way down from what they were expecting. I actually looked into a high-paying travel job early on in my career, but it would have required me moving somewhere that I didn't want to live, and that was the big common trade-off. Now, if you want to get into travel PT, you're typically going to need at least 1 year of experience in that specific setting first. From there, you'll work with recruiters who help you to place on these contracts. But if you like the idea of higher income but don't want to constantly uproot your life, the next option might be a much better fit. Number 4 is working in a niche cash pay clinic with a performance-based compensation structure. And this is where you start to see real income upside as an employee. Now, most of these roles have a base income of around $90,000, but with bonuses or revenue sharing, you can push that well into the 160,000+ range in the right clinic. And here's why. Traditional outpatient PT is built around insurance, and I remember what it was like being in an insurance-based outpatient clinic for 3 years. I'd have to see up to 20 patients a day, fight for authorization, document through my lunch, and I'd get paid the same flat salary regardless of how hard I worked. It's a broken model, and most PTs know it. Cash pay clinics flip that model upside down. Patients pay out of pocket often $150 to $300 per session, which means no insurance headaches, fewer patients per day, and typically one-on-one care. Now, the big difference is how you're paid. If you find the right agencies, your income is tied to your performance, meaning if you bring in and retain patients, you earn more money. Now, some clinics offer revenue sharing, bonuses, or a percentage of what you collect. The upside here is higher earning potential, better patient relationships, and less burnout from overbooking. But there are 2 big downsides most people don't think about. First, you'll have to be comfortable selling. Your income and your job stability are directly tied to your ability to convert and retain patients, and a lot of PTs don't want to do that. They just want to focus on being great clinicians. Second, you're relying heavily on the clinic's ability to generate leads. So if they don't have strong marketing or consistent patient flow, your income can drop fast. Now, if you go into this route, you need to be very selective about the clinic you join. Make sure they have strong demand, solid systems, and consistent lead flow. If you can find the right fit, this can be one of the highest paying employee roles in the profession. But if you want high income without relying on sales or clinical marketing, the next opportunity is on a completely different level. Number 5 is home health physical therapy. This is without a doubt the biggest financial opportunity in the profession right now. This is the path that gave me both time and financial freedom, and ultimately allowed me to build a company that generated over $13 million. And it's not just my opinion. Home health is the highest paid setting in physical therapy, with average salaries over $100,000 and many roles paying $150,000 to $250,000. I've recently seen job offers with $190,000 salaries, bonuses, and sign-on incentives, pushing the total comp to over $250,000 as an employee. And that's just the starting point. Here's what most therapists don't realize. A PT working for a home health therapy company might make $100,000. That same PT that works for a top agency in a good market can push $200,000 to $250,000. And if they contract independently with agencies, I've seen PTs clearing $35,000 to $40,000 a month. That's nearly $500,000 a year doing the exact same work. And if they build a team, that turns into a business doing over $300,000 a month, which is over $3 million a year. That's the real opportunity here. So what does the job actually look like? You're going directly to patients' homes, helping people after surgery, hospitalization, or those that are homebound. It's one-on-one care, flexible scheduling, and in most cases, significantly fewer hours than any other setting. This is the best setup for PTs who want high income without being stuck in a clinic all day. Now, personally, when I made the switch, I loved the day-to-day. Driving between patients, listening to podcasts, having flexibility in my schedule, and actually helping people in the environment they live in. Now, like anything, there are downsides, and the first one is driving. If your patients are spread out, you can spend a lot of time in the car. And that's why working with the right agencies and structuring your schedule properly is critical. The second downside is documentation. It can be more involved than outpatient. But with all the AI tools coming out, this is becoming less of an issue every year. The third downside is the learning curve. Most PT schools don't teach anything about home health. When I started, I thought agencies would train me, but in reality, you're expected to figure a lot of it out on your own. So if you want to get into this space, you need to have an understanding of things like OASIS, visit types, and the Medicare payment model. Once you do, you become extremely valuable and it opens the door to those higher paying opportunities. And if you want want to take it a step further, you can build your own home health therapy business, contract with agencies, and hire other therapists. This shifts from working a job to owning a scalable business. So there you have it, 5 paths in physical therapy that are paying far more than most therapists realize. You didn't go through 7 years of school, take on 6 figures of debt just to feel underpaid and overworked. Now, if you got some value from this video, please make sure to subscribe. I put out videos every week for PTs who want more income, more freedom, and more control over their career. And if you are a PT that wants to transition into home health or build a home health therapy company to maximize your earnings and lifestyle, I have a link below where you can book a free strategy call with me. We'll look at your current situation, map out what this could look like in your market, and see if it actually makes sense for you to make that move. And if it does, I'll show you exactly how to do it.